You know, artificial intelligence is changing pretty much every job out there, and the legal profession is definitely no exception. But when it comes to the courtroom, this incredible new tech isn't just some handy assistant. It's actually creating a challenge that the very idea of justice has never seen before.
And this quote from an expert named Craig Ball, man, it just nails it. The democratization of deception. What does that even mean? Well, think about it. Creating super convincing fake videos or documents used to take a Hollywood budget and a whole studio. Now, pretty much anyone with a good computer can do it. This changes everything, because suddenly, seeing isn't always believing anymore.
And look, this isn't some far-off sci-fi movie problem. Nope, it is happening right now. So let's dive into a real-world case that literally sent shockwaves through the legal community and shows you exactly how badly this can go wrong.
Okay, so picture this. It all starts with a case that sounds pretty normal, right? Mata versus Avianca. A guy sues an airline because he says he got hurt by a serving cart on a flight. His lawyers, Stephen Schwartz and Peter Loduca, do what lawyers do. They file a brief with the court to argue their case. Seemed like business as usual, but it was anything but.
So in this legal brief, they cited a bunch of other court cases to back up their argument, and they looked totally legitimate. They had these official-sounding names, case numbers, the whole shebang. But here's the kicker. They were all fake. Total phantoms. They were completely made up from scratch by ChatGPT, which one of the lawyers had used to do his research.
All right, so you're probably wondering how in the world does a high-tech lie like this actually get discovered in court? Well, the answer is a little bit of old-school lawyer work and a whole lot of the AI just not being as smart as it seemed.
Well, it all started to fall apart in a pretty simple way. First, the airline's lawyers were like, hey, we can't find any of these cases you're talking about. So the judge tells the first lawyers, okay, show me the full court decisions. And this is where it gets wild. Instead of just admitting the mistake, they doubled down. They actually submitted pieces of the fake cases that ChatGPT had spat out. And that was it. Game over. The judge reads these so-called opinions and realizes they're complete and utter nonsense.
I mean, just look at this fake Varghese case. The court said its legal logic made no sense, it got the names of the people involved all mixed up, and get this, the fake case actually cited other fake cases to support its points. It was like a house of cards built on thin air.
You know, what really cooked their goose wasn't just making the mistake in the first place, it was the cover-up. The judge, P. Kevin Castle, said it perfectly. When they got caught, they doubled down. They just kept insisting the fake cases were real, even lying to the court to buy more time. It wasn't just a mistake anymore, it was a deliberate lie.
So what's the price for something like this? Well, the court found the lawyers acted in subjective bad faith, which is basically formal legal speak for they knew what they were doing was wrong, and fined them and their firm $5,000. It was a huge message. Sure, use new tech, but you can't just hand over your professional duty to a machine.
So this whole Mata vs. Avianca case is a massive warning sign. But believe it or not, it's really just the tip of the iceberg. It shines a light on a much, much bigger threat that AI poses to our entire legal system. So you've got to understand, AI is hitting the justice system with a 1-2 punch. First, you have what we just saw, corrupting the arguments by just making up fake laws and cases. But the second threat, and honestly this one might be even scarier, is corrupting the evidence itself. We're talking about AI-generated deepfake photos, videos, audio, stuff that looks and sounds so real it's almost impossible to tell it's fake.
And this leads to something really dangerous. It's called the liar's dividend. Think about it. Once everybody knows that perfect fakes exist, any person caught doing something wrong on a real video can just claim, nope, that's a deepfake, it's not me. It poisons the well. It makes us start to doubt everything we see, even when it's genuine.
Okay, so with all this potential for fake stuff floating around, you might be thinking, how can the courts even function anymore? Well, the legal world isn't just sitting back and letting this happen. It's starting to build up its defenses. And look, the Mata case wasn't just a fluke. In another case, Fletcher versus Experian, a court fined a lawyer $2,500 for the same kind of thing, a legal brief full of AI-generated nonsense. So courts are making it very clear, there are real consequences, both financial and for your career, if you try this.
So how do we fight back? How do you tell what's real from what's fake? Let's go back to Craig Ball, who says the key is something called metadata. He calls it the DNA of digital evidence. See, every digital file has this hidden information baked into it. When it was made, what camera or phone was used, maybe even the location. It's like the file's digital birth certificate.
And while these fakes are getting scarily good, for now, there are still some telltale signs you can look for. Weird lighting, flickering in a video, the voice not quite matching the lips. But the biggest giveaway is often in that metadata. An AI-generated image was never taken by a real camera, so it won't have that real digital DNA. The thing is, though, these clues are getting harder and harder to spot.
So what's the big takeaway here? It really all comes down to one simple but super important idea about how we humans need to handle these incredibly powerful new tools.
This quote really just says it all. The courts aren't saying, don't use AI. Not at all. The message is, hey, use the tool, but don't let the tool do your thinking for you. At the end of the day, a human is still responsible. The bottom line is simple. Trust, but verify.
And don't think for a second this is just a US problem. This is happening everywhere. The Supreme Court of India just came out with this powerful warning, saying that any judge who relies on AI to write their verdicts would be committing judicial misconduct. So yeah, legal systems all over the world are waking up to this challenge. And so that leaves us with the big, looming question, doesn't it? The technology for creating lies is getting better at a mind-blowing speed. As AI gets smarter and the fakes become literally perfect, can we, our laws, our courts, our own eyes, keep up? Can we still find the truth in a world full of perfect fakes? That's the real challenge ahead.